KTRS. Well, it's been well known that Missouri is the only state in the union. 49 other states have some type of prescription drug monitoring program. Missouri is the only one. There are a number of doctors who are not happy with that, including our next one. Dr. Ken Haller is with St. Louis University. You're a pediatrician with the American Academy of Pediatrics. Doctor, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here. Thanks.
You're going down to Jefferson City to lobby and explain what's going on out there, right?
Right. We were actually down there yesterday. We had almost 100 pediatricians, residents, and students from across the state to talk about some issues that are important to kids. And believe it or not, a prescription drug monitoring program is important for kids.
And how well received was your message?
Actually, it does seem like the vast majority of lawmakers really want this to happen. They realize, too, that this is about safety. This is about making sure that people who might be prescription shopping by going to Walgreens and CVS and their local pharmacy,
right.
That I, as a provider, would be able to find that out, and I could sit down with the patient and say, hey, what's going on here? You need help. It's really only a few who are blocking it, primarily in the Senate, and one of the reasons that we went, and this is one of our issues, was that we wanted to make the medical case for why this is important and tell the stories that we have seen. I mean, I've seen kids who've come into the emergency room at Cardinal Glennon who've had, who have suffered from an overdose of opiates, and they've ended up in the hospital. Sometimes they've ended up in the ICU. Nobody wants that to happen. I don't want that to happen. Families don't want that to happen, and most of the lawmakers don't want that to happen either.
Interesting. All right. What are some of the other things you talked to our fellow lawmakers about?
Well, we had a couple of other issues. One, of course, is childhood vaccines. For myself, I know that in my career, I have seen a lot of diseases pretty close to disappear because of vaccines. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there about vaccines. People have heard stories that are just not true, and we just want to make sure that, for example, one of the bills would require that school districts, which already collect information about what percentage of their kids are fully vaccinated, that they make that publicly available. This would allow parents and school districts to have a little bit of a reality check. If they're thinking, well, everyone else is vaccinated, I'm going to vaccinate my kid. If they see that 7 or 8% of the kids that their kids are encountering haven't had their vaccines, it might make them think twice.
Is it that high that 7 or 8% of the kids aren't vaccinated?
In some school districts, it is that high. Yeah.
Within Missouri.
Within Missouri, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Is there one vaccine over another that they're avoiding?
It's one of the one that has had the most notoriety around it. Falsely is MMR vaccine. However, there are people who object to other vaccines, and some people just don't give any vaccines. So just letting people know when they send their kids to school what they're looking at and why it's important for them to get their kids vaccinated. This would be another tool for that.
Doctor, just while we have you,
yeah.
You're a world-renowned pediatrician.
Oh, am I?
Yes, you are.
You are now.
I've just dubbed you that.
Well, thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Is there
That
any
must be
connection between childhood vaccines and autism and/or causing some other type of damage to a child's development?
The answer is no. And the guy who published this paper in 1998 is a fraud. This has been proven. There has been a huge amount of investigative journalism around this, and this guy was doing it for self-interest. He was being paid by lawyers and wanted to sue vaccine manufacturers. He created a vaccine that would have been used instead of the one that was being used. He would have made a lot of money if his recommendations had been followed.
Yeah.
So this guy is just a complete and total fraud and charlatan, and unfortunately, he hits people in a tender place. He hits people in this place that says, this may hurt your kids. No one wants to do that. And some people have listened to that, unfortunately, and their kids have sometimes suffered for it.
Okay, so that bill, how was that received? Having the schools, disclose the percentage of vaccines for the kids?
The legislators I talked to and talking to my colleagues who talked to other legislators, they thought this was a really good idea. So I think that has some legs, and I hope we're going to go forward with that.
Anything else that you talked to them about?
The other thing was youth bullying. Right now, the state of Missouri has a very, very pretty much useless statute on bullying. In fact, it actually can block the ability of schools to deal with bullies. What it says is you cannot ask the bullies anything about why they are attacking other kids. It's really important to find that out. Is it on the basis of, for example, a child's disability, a child's race, a child's sexual orientation? If we don't allow schools to really ask questions about this stuff, we're not going to be able to not just help the victims, but help the bullies themselves.
Right.
It's been shown that kids who are engaged in bullying, about a third of them have a conviction in the courts by the age of 24. And we really want to make sure that those kids get the help they need.
Absolutely.
Dr. Ken Haller with St. Louis University, pediatrician. Thank you very much. Great stuff.
It's been great to be here. Thank you very much.
You got it. 7:57, Big 550.